libraries, particularly in academic settings, and the universities and colleges they serve, are at an extraordinary point in their development and their history. I think that one of the things that universities demonstrate over time is a huge capability to change and evolve. I call it primal innovation. It's going back to our roots and understanding what we're really all about. We're about teaching, learning, scholarship, service to our communities. And so I think we constantly have to refresh and remind ourselves that that's what we're about, and sort of energize those innovative juices that I think has allowed the higher education community to survive for over 500 years and to continue to play such a relevant and important part in the work of our universities and our communities and our nations. It also means, I think, that we may have to periodically tear apart, deconstruct what we are, take a hard look at the way we have done things in the past, and to refresh those. Innovation allows us to raise the questions, to look at the options. Deconstruction means that we're not necessarily burdened by the way we have done things in the past. I also observe that many of the things that we are focused on, many of the issues and challenges that we face, are not going to be solved by individual colleges or universities. Individual institutions have to build new types of relationships in their communities with other colleges and universities around the country, if not around the world. I've come to call this radical collaboration, sort of moving beyond the kumbaya of the past, which served us well, this holding of hands to get things done. But we need to move from standing side by side to thinking more about standing with one another and finding ways to build deep partnerships, deep relationships, and national, if not global, systemic strategies in order to solve some of the really tough information and teaching learning problems that we are facing. The other interest to me is one of survival. There's always chatter about whether the library will survive, whether what we are will continue to be relevant and needed within the academic and community environments. I take the position that we've never been more needed. The types of things we do, the types of services we provide, the type of sort of neutral space, the neutral service, the neutral collection that we provide to our communities, I think will prove to be fundamentally essential going forward. We've seen so much of the discovery and access to information being taken over by the corporate community, the Googles, the Apples, the Amazons of this world. Libraries, I think, represent a force of public interest, one that recognizes that access to information for everybody remains a continuing value. Across North America, we're seeing that libraries on college and university campuses have never, ever been busier than they are today. They're packed. Now, they're coming into the library for very different reasons. I call it sort of the Trump-Loy library, where we sort of have this image of desks and chairs and stacks of books, but what's really going on in that space is very different. Students are not interacting with the print collections as they did in the past. Certainly our ability to put digital content on their desktops, on every portable device that they carry around, I think is going to be critical to our success as libraries and universities, but to their success as students. So we're thinking differently about space. We're starting with the user and not with the collection. We're starting with the technology and not with the staff. And Concordia has an extraordinary opportunity over the next several years to rethink and redeploy its library space and to build that agility and innovation and technology innovation into that space. And I think that's going to be really important to the success of the university. Collaboration has always been important for libraries and for universities. If you look at the history of libraries, you'll see things like interlibrary loan, shared cataloging of our collections, the joint licensing of electronic databases. Many libraries are now collaborating in off-site collection facilities, off-site storage facilities of collections. And now we're seeing many, many national systemic strategies. In the States, we have things like HATI Trust, focused on electronic book collection. We have the Digital Preservation Network, focused on long-term long-term storage and protection of the scholarly electronic record. We have the Digital Public Library of America. We have many, many partnerships which have developed, recognizing that no individual library or university can be successful without working closely with other institutions. I call this the period of polygamy. We have all of these relationships and marriages that we have developed, and it's hard to maintain effectively all of those collaborations. And so I also see the importance of what I call deep or radical collaboration, the need to have bilateral or trilateral relationships of institutions that can really invest in a very systematic way together, building new infrastructure, building the collective collection, the shared collection, sharing staff, sharing technology. So I think this type of collaborative approach has implications also for colleges and universities. Universities live in a competitive environment. We compete for students, we compete for faculty, researchers, we compete for funding, grant dollars, we compete for donors, we compete for visibility. And I think we need over time not to set aside that energy which is built into that competition, but to find ways in which universities and college, by co-investing, can build better support for their own faculty and students.